so stubborn, but it's sexy, babe. You don't let nobody tell.
Now I'm on my laptop this time. Came off my phone because that's dying, and I don't know if this computer is, well, if the camera is better on the computer than it is on the phone. So, today I'm going to be reacting to Something Scary, Volume 1, Urban Legends Story Time by Snarled. So, yeah, it's gonna be something scary. I'm very interested into stuff like this. I love scary things. The weird thing about me though is like I hate being scared, but I like scary things. It is just the double side of me. But anywho, let's get straight into it.
It's Sapphire. Stick around at the end of this episode for additional stories. And don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and turn on the bell for notifications. Hey, I'm Sapphire. What is so scary? The Little Medium.
Okay, so it's called Little Medium.
True story from AJ. AJ lived in the Dominican Republic until she was about 5 years old. She was a very imaginative child. That's what her grandmother would call her, at least, whenever AJ would start telling her stories. They weren't so much stories as they were moments. Very descriptive moments in time that AJ would randomly begin sharing.
Sorry if I'm
About getting stuck in a tree.
trying to get
She
like a
described
good
how she clawed her way up with all 4 limbs like a cat,
setting.
and how she could hear people yelling her name down below. She could describe in detail all of the houses on the block, and how they looked in a blur as she fell towards the ground. She had another story where she was swimming in the Pacific Ocean, a place she had never been, and yet she could remember all of the buildings underneath the water. Now, how can you say these things when you've never been to the Pacific Ocean? Her grandmother asked her one day. I have, Grandma, AJ replied. She pointed to her head. In here. Suddenly it clicked. Her grandma realized that AJ may not actually be making any of these experiences up, but instead recalling past lives. This is a very real phenomenon among young children. They recall memories that they couldn't possibly have experienced themselves. Like one case with a little boy in Oklahoma. He would constantly yell, "Action!" as if directing a movie. He'd have dreams where his heart exploded while he was living in Hollywood. He talked about owning a big house with a swimming pool. His mother ended up borrowing a bunch of old books about the history of Hollywood to see if she could jog her son's past life memory. And sure enough, he pointed to a man in a photo, an actor named George Raft, and claimed that was him. His mother tracked down the man's daughter, who was able to confirm all of the boy's experiences to be true. AJ's grandmother had known about this phenomenon and was pleasantly surprised to know that her granddaughter had the gift. The only thing that didn't exactly add up was how inconsistent her stories were. Sometimes she was a man, sometimes she was a young girl, sometimes she wasn't a human at all. AJ's grandmother then came to the conclusion that she might be remembering the past lives of other people. AJ's grandmother never discouraged her from sharing experiences when they came to her. She actually enjoyed them, and she was sad to see AJ go when she moved to the United States to be with her mother, Monica. Her grandmother traveled with her and, upon arrival, told Monica about her daughter's special gift. But Monica didn't believe her. She's a kid, Mom, Monica said. She's just making stuff up. It's what kids do. After moving to New Jersey, AJ didn't share as many experiences as she used to. Maybe it was because she was 5 now, and studies have shown that that's the average age when children stop recalling past memories. Many believe it's because that's when children start to develop memories of their current lives. Or maybe AJ was really hamming it up for her grandma. Whatever the reason, AJ wasn't as imaginative as she used to be. For about a couple of months, at least. Monica had a really close friend named Kim. They had been friends for a very long time, and AJ thought of her as the older sister she never had. Kim would often babysit AJ while Monica was at work. One day, Kim and AJ were feeding ducks at the nearby park. Out of nowhere, AJ started crying. What's wrong, sweetie? He burned you. What? Who did?
Huh?
Tracy. Who's Tracy? He was angry you left him. He spit on you and threw gas at you. He held you down and put a lighter to your face. You screamed as you melted. Kim's face turned from worry into anger. Do you think this is funny? Are you trying to scare me? Why would you say such horrible things? I'm sorry.
Well.
Kim immediately took AJ home after that. When Monica came home from work, Kim told her about the upsetting things her daughter had told her. Oh, AJ, Monica sighed. I thought you were done with these stories. I was just telling her what I saw. Kim had moved to another state
That was a
shortly
very
after.
descriptive
It
way
wasn't
of seeing
until 5
somebody.
years later that AJ saw her again. It was Christmas, and Kim arrived with a ton of gifts for AJ. They had both forgotten about the awkward incident at the park, and everything felt just as it was before. AJ happily fiddled with her light bright in the living room while Kim and Monica were catching up in the kitchen. She overheard that Kim had been living in Tennessee with this guy she met, Tracy. Wait, why did that sound so familiar? AJ's ears perked up, and she scooted closer to the kitchen to eavesdrop.
I had to get out of there. His moods were so unpredictable. His drinking was getting worse. I just never felt safe in that house. You're safe now. You know that you can stay here if you need to. Oh, no. I don't want to impose, please. I'm staying at the motel across town. I'll be fine. Okay, well, I'm always here for you. Thank you.
The next morning, Monica texted Kim to make sure she was okay. Everything's great. Thanks again for being there for me, read a text from Kim. A week had passed, and Monica hadn't heard from Kim again. She thought maybe she'd worked everything out with her boyfriend, or maybe she'd found a new place of her own. Monica and AJ were eating breakfast. Monica was scrolling through her Facebook news feed. She almost choked on her food. I don't believe it. Kim is dead. How did she die? AJ asked. She was burned. Wait.
All of this sounded familiar. Why did this sound familiar? Monica thought about what Kim had told her 5 years ago. She thought about what her mother had told her about AJ's ability to see past lives. She was starting to think that maybe it wasn't the past she was seeing. Monica stared at her daughter, who burst into tears.
I tried to warn her, Mom.
And now, more something scary.
All right, you guys ready for the next one? This one is actually from a No Sleep. Let me know if you've heard this one before. This is one of my favorite No Sleeps I've ever read. It's called A Campfire Story, and it is written by username Vital Duel. For a number of years, I was a camp counselor at an overnight camp in the Muskokas. I loved it more than any job I've ever had, despite the non-existent pay, annoying campers, long days and short nights, crappy food, etc. For one, I got to tell as many scary stories as I could sputter out. There was nothing better than hanging around a dying campfire with a bunch of junior high kids who were demanding the scariest, most blood-curdling tales I knew. And I told them all. The babysitter and the eerie clown statue, the driver and the creepy gas attendant, the woman and her licking dog. I saved my best stories for the overnight trips we made in Algonquin Park. For non-Canadians, it's a massive park in the middle of Ontario, spanning nearly 8,000 square kilometers, when days would be spent canoeing on pristine lakes and nights would be spent around the fire, singing and making s'mores and being as rowdy as the only people within miles could be. Once the kids had quieted down, I told them stories of a stalker in the woods with a face so horrifying
It paralyzed all of its victims in speed. Or the group of campers who decided to spend the night across the lake from an abandoned insane asylum. On this particular night, I finished up the tales, once again insisting that they were entirely true, and sent the campers to their tents. It had been an exhausting day, and none of the 6 kids were in any mood to stay up later. My fellow counselor had also decided to pack it in, leaving just me on a fallen log next to the dying fire. I took a deep breath of the cool, fresh, pine-scented air and looked out at the lake. The partial moon reflected off the glassy water, and on the other side I could see towering cliffs going up several hundred feet. I considered whether we could canoe over, climb up a few dozen feet, and do some cliff jumping. I grinned. The camp director would have my head if we did that, if he found out. Movement at the very top of the cliffs caught my eye. There was a small light bobbing along the peak. At first, I thought,
Would y'all do that? Cliff diving? Me, I mean, I always had a very ambitious kind of like adrenaline. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Like, I always loved stuff like fast things, have your heart pumping, stuff like that. Ever since I was little, like, I always loved dangerous things. Like, I was much of a speed demon. But yeah, I don't know about cliff diving. I'm a little like worried about that, cause that's like almost like bungee jumping to me, because you never know if that cord might snap or your foot get cut off or some stuff like that happens. I don't know. I mean, it'd be fun to do, but it'd be also scary to go through. But you guys let me know, would you do that though? Back to it.
it was a star, but it was larger and gave off a golden glow. It slowly moved back and forth in a small arc. As I sat up and watched it, another appeared next to it, bobbing along the top of the cliff. Then another, and another, and a few more. My stomach dropped into my feet. I grabbed my bag and pulled my digital camera out, then focused it on little glowing orbs and used the zoom function. I counted them, and then I counted again. Oh shit. In a flash, I was up and running to the tents. Hey guys, wake up, we gotta go. There was movement in the tents, and then I had 7 confused heads looking out at me. My co-counselor wore a mixture of concern and pure anger. I hate to do this, I continued, but the clouds are looking really threatening. There's a big rainstorm coming in. If we get caught in it, it's going to ruin our trip. Seriously? Laura, my co-counselor, asked. We're in the middle of the woods. Where would we go? I pulled a map and flashlight out of my bag. There's a ranger station a few kilometers south of us. I traced the path with my finger. Thank God. We can make it there in a few hours. The campers groaned. Can't we just go in the morning? No, I shouted, my voice echoing across the lake. I lowered. Come on, let's get packed up and go. I'll tell you a story along the way. I smiled, though I could feel my lips quiver.
I feel like she's probably trying to tell them something. I think she either saw something that scared the living daylights out of her, and that's why she's trying to get everybody to leave. Cause, I mean, yeah, I get it where, okay, if y'all are like outside and y'all have tents and it's like, you know, it's about the storm and stuff like that, okay, yeah, I get it. You don't want to get wet and stuff like that, but if you don't have nowhere to go, where would you go? If they don't have RVs or anything that they came in, or at least a bus, like if this was a field trip or something, where would you go? Unless they got a shack or something. I don't know. But very much feel like she saw something that scared her, not just the storm, but she's using that as a cover up. I don't know. Let's see.
It's my best one. That seemed to get them going, and within 10 minutes the tents were packed up and we'd begun our trek into the deep woods, with small flashlights our only guide. When I was confident we were moving at a steady pace, I allowed myself to relax and began to tell my favorite campfire story. Centuries before the European settlers made their way into the country, it was inhabited by the First Nations people. They had made the trip from across western Canada, following the migration patterns of large animals such as buffalo and bison. Eventually they reached Ontario, at which point they split off into smaller groups of travelers, each searching for a section of land to call their own. Legend has it that one group, consisting of about 20 men, women, and children, had ventured through this very area in search of a place to call home. Though it wasn't even the end of October, the weather had made a turn for the worse, and as the group journeyed around the lake, a fierce blizzard hit. Within an hour, the group found themselves in blinding snow and below zero temperatures. Excuse me. The clothes they had on them
But I don't know how we got from a rainstorm, worrying about getting caught in the rain, to a blizzard.
not this sort of weather, and they weren't any. The clothes they had on them were made for the fall, not this sort of weather, and there weren't any Canada Goose jackets around back then. But they pressed on. They didn't have any other choice. Night was falling as they reached a cliff bluff, which towered over a cold, choppy lake. There was no stopping for this group. They'd die if they didn't make it past the cliffs. But with darkness setting in and the snow falling even harder, visibility was almost non-existent. So one of the elders had an idea. Using the little kerosene they had left, he lit a lantern for each of the travelers and had them carry it in front of them. Not so that they could see the cliffs, but so they could see who was in front of them, allowing them to all follow each other across the narrow bluffs. With the strongest of the men leading the way, the group began to cross the cliffs. The freezing, wet snow soaked every bone in their body. The harsh wind chilled an exposed skin. The harsh wind chilled any exposed skin and threatened to push them right off the rock. Their path was no more than a few feet wide and would have been slippery to even the best of hiking boots, let alone hand-fashioned moccasins. Slowly, painstakingly slowly, they made their way up to the cliffs, praying that whatever lay on the other side could shelter them from the intensifying storm. They were about halfway up, hundreds of feet above the lake, though it was well out of their vision. In fact, all they could see in this blinding storm was a lantern in front of them, acting as a beacon to guide their steps. If the light moved up, they moved up. If it went down, they moved down. Each of the travelers was almost in a trance, caring about nothing but the glowing orb a few feet away. For the leader, though, there was no such luxury. He moved forward blindly, feeling along the cliff with his free arm, though his skin was so numb he could barely feel anything. As the path wound back again, he made a misstep and lost his footing, just as a gust of wind blasted his back. He desperately grasped for the hold, but his frozen fingers couldn't get anything. With a terrified scream, he slipped off the cliffs and fell into the icy black lake. The rest of the party didn't see it fall, of course. All they saw was his glowing orb dropping away from the bluff and disappearing in the darkness.
Oh,
There was no time to mourn. They continued on, but the storm was worsening. After another minute, one of the children, his body unable to withstand the cold, dropped away, his lantern glowing until the choppy waters put it out. Another, having seen this, lost his balance and fell. This pattern went on until there were just 5 people left, mumbling along in the darkness, following the light in front. As hard as they tried, the cliffs were unforgiving. The remaining men fell down to 4, then 3, and 2, and then there was just one left, who legend says cursed the earth as his legs slipped and he plunged hundreds of feet down, his lantern the last one to be extinguished. Of the 20 members who tried to overcome the cliffs, I finished, not one of them survived. They say that sometimes, when the conditions are right, you can see the orbs along the cliff, symbols of the lost travelers who will never find their homes. As the story ended, leaving the campers in an eerie silence, I saw lights up ahead. A wave of relief poured over me. We picked up the pace and found the ranger station bursting with activity, with a half-dozen people running around, loading up trucks and shouting into radios. The wind was beginning to really pick up, and I heard thunder in the distance. "Hey, you kids!" A large burly man with a full beard and mustache ran up to us. "Get in the trucks, we don't have much time." Laura and I led the kids to one of the pickup trucks. "What's going on?" I asked the man. "Didn't you hear?" Another gust of wind. Huge storm systems heading right for us. Already been tornadoes touched down. Getting everyone out of here, let's go. We all climbed into the truck's bed. I collapsed down, feeling like I'd just been punched in the gut. The ranger climbs into the front and we took off down a makeshift road. My head was spinning. It wasn't possible. How? Laura slid next to me, keeping her voice low. "How did you know we had to get out of there?" I looked over at her. My face felt empty of any blood. I saw the lights. What? No. She gasped, then caught herself. "How many?" I took a deep breath. 8. She looked around at all the campers, who were now lying against each other, asleep despite the bumpy road. "That's all of us. Oh my God." I nodded and leaned against her. Laura had heard the traveler's story before, and she knew that I left out a key bit of information. The lights were real, but they were never random. If they were shining, bobbing back and forth, swinging in a small arc, it was because they had a message, a warning. One light would shine for each person who was about to die. You guys ready for your last story? This one is also from the No Sleep subreddit, from the username Demons Dance Alone. So this is called "I Was 9 When My House Burned Down."
okay. I know this is getting a little this video is getting a little lengthy, so I might end it with this last one here, and I'll possibly see if I'll make another video, but it's getting pretty good. Even without the visual, it sounds as good, but yeah, we'll finish it up with this last one because I don't want this video to be too long, and I don't know the length of the video that they allowed this to be posted, so I'll just go ahead and just let this go ahead and play.
My parents, my possessions, my entire life, eaten by flames. I sat on the curb with my brother while the firemen put out the inferno. The department had a good reputation in our town. The old saying was, you could be next door to the police station and still have a 45-minute wait time, whereas the firemen would show up the second you struck a match. Quick as they were, they didn't get there in time to rescue our parents. My brother Aiden was 5, too young to really understand what had happened. We went into the custody of my 10-year-old sister, and he kept asking how long we'd be staying with her. He insisted it hadn't been the fire itself that killed our parents. It was the fire people.
Hmm?
He drew picture after picture, filling the page with strange beings with yellow flame arms and bodies. They'd shot fire at the house, he'd said. Our parents' deaths weighed on him. He'd go mute around anybody but me or my sister. Even Cal couldn't get him to open up. Calvin Dennings was one of the first firemen on the scene. He came to my sister's house afterwards to check up on us. I couldn't really bring myself to like him all that much. He had a hero complex going on, and I felt it was important for him to hit on a recently orphaned girl, but my sister fell for it anyway.
What?
I guess grief really is an aphrodisiac. Cal liked to show off. He'd been the first responder in our house, grabbed both me and my brother up, and brought us outside. He told the story of our rescue over and over, embellishing it just a little more with each retelling. He wasn't a very good boyfriend. He was all about the sweeping romantic gestures. He ignored the everyday stuff. He was also emotionally tone deaf. He told my sister to cry whenever she wanted because she was pretty when she was sad. To be honest, I'm not sure how the relationship lasted as long as it did. Maybe my sister was timid about breaking up with the town hero, but as she sat on the couch with a fake grin plastered on her face while Cal related yet another story of his escapades, I knew we were headed for disaster. That summer might as well have been called fire. Fire was everywhere. In the hills, in the camping ground, in the town. Houses went up. Stray cigarettes landed in dead grass.
It sounds like something that is going on in LA, like the California fires. It sounds like a story about one of the California fires, like if somebody was telling it. It was like very vivid image, but
Every sunset was beautiful.
Oh, also the boyfriend sounds like an a-hole. He just sounds like a real actually bad boyfriend by the hear of things that's going on in their life. It just sounds horrible. He just sounds horrible. But continuing.
The fire department was pulling a lot of weight those days. I remember Cal only showing up once every few days, jabbering excitedly about the new blaze. The city had been cutting funding for its emergency departments. Then the firefighters were looking at an increase due to the sudden urgency. The day my sister broke up with Cal, I heard the fire truck wailing away to the hills, imagining it emulating Cal's grief. He hadn't taken it well. He pulled the after all I've done for you card. My sister exploded. It was his job to save lives. If he hadn't saved ours, he would have done a shitty job. I watched her lay into him, throwing all his posturing back in his face. Cal slammed the front door as he left. My sister smoked, hands shaking. That night, Aiden woke me up. My sister worked the late shift, so we had microwave dinners and put ourselves to bed. Aiden was crouched at my side. He hadn't turned any lights on, so I could just make out the side of his face from the light that leaked in from the street lamp. The fire people are back, he whispered. Outside, I heard the clink of metal. As I peered through the curtains, I finally understood. Aiden hadn't been drawing people made of yellow flames. He'd been drawing yellow coats and pants, like the fire department used.
I just got that. I was just about to say, was the fire... Wait, the fire people we said that were drawn... Could it possibly be because, it could have been tied up since now hearing that her boyfriend was a firefighter? I oppose, but... Yeah, I'm just were they the ones causing those fires? Did they cause the fire? If so, wow, that is so foul. That is foul AF. You are that butthurt over somebody breaking up with you that bad. I never get that. Why do people do stuff like that? Why go above and beyond when they break up with you, but you don't have that same energy when you're like with that person. I never got that, and it's like you can't take rejection well. I just that's some age. But continue.
I watched them adjust something, and the hose they pointed at the house started gushing. What were they aiming at? The house wasn't on fire. The answer hit my mind at the same moment the smell of gasoline hit my nose. They drenched the house as I retreated and grabbed my brother's hand. I visited the day my house burned down many times in my head, picturing different scenarios, smelling smoke and running up to get my parents instead of cowering in the living room, afraid I'd get in trouble for being up late. Turning on every faucet in the house so that the gushing water extinguished the flames. Suffice to say, mental images are no replacement for action. I grabbed Aiden's hand with one hand and the phone with the other. I put us in the hall closet and dialed 911. The crabby operator snapped. "What's your emergency?" I pitched my voice loud as I dared. "Want to know why the fire department is so popular lately? Come to 5563 Willow Court," she said. "What?" The line went dead. I could hear them talk outside. Why hadn't they lit the fire yet? The front door creaked. Cal called to us, sugar sweet. "Were we here?" Uncle Cal was worried about us. He was worried that our sister left us all alone, worried about her state of mind. Would we come out? I peeked out the closet door after I heard it pass by. He was carrying a fire axe so sharp and shiny I could see my reflection. Well, the cops didn't take 45 minutes to respond that night. I heard the fight outside, heard Cal's heavy fire boots clumping on the floor as he ran. I waited until the sounds of struggle died to come out. Cal was on the ground, boot on the back of his neck. He had murder in his eyes when he saw us. He spat at us and called us kindling before they slammed him in the back of the cruiser. There were much less fires after that. Funding was sucked out of the fire department and put into the cops' pocket. Cal went away for a long time, but we moved just in case he got out early. My sister managed to put us through school. Aiden's an illustrator. They say his pictures really tell a story without words. And me? I'm the 911 operator. I don't take a whole lot of calls in the town where I'm settled. The occasional DV, car accidents, fires. I've gotten more fire reports this week than I've had since I started the job. Sometimes the call is just a heavy breathing man. I smell gasoline outside. Ooh, that's creepy. So the firemen would light fires on the houses just so that they would be needed. Ooh, that's wild.
That is crazy.
Creepy. And also, just like a quick correction, I read the beginning of that story wrong. I said that the sister was 10 years old. No, the sister's 10 years older than the kid. So yeah, it's not creepy that the guy was dating a 10-year-old.
If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Like it.
Oh wow. That is crazy. Cause wait a minute. Okay, so the sister, I'm trying to get this all inside my head in order. So the sister was dating a firefighter, and her boyfriend was the firefighter. And the firefighters, they get all these calls about, from to my hearing, they get a lot of reports about fires being struck around a lot from the operators, and to figure it all out, it was her boyfriend and the fire recruits. They were the ones that starts the fires. I had to question that real quick because, hearing more of the story, it sounded like, okay, so she said she was also smoking. So I thought, like, when she was upset with her boyfriend and they were getting in a heated argument, well, not argument, but something, I don't know, but as I guess he left, she smoked a cigarette, and I thought that caused the fire, like inside the house, was the cigarette burning, and she didn't know. But as the little girl said, well, not the little girl, but the girl said that, well, her sister said that there were fire people outside. I'm just like, okay, did she start the fire though? But to hear that they were soaking the house with, I guess, gasoline or kerosene, it is crazy. That's so crazy. I'm just like, wow, wait a minute. So either the guy has very low self-esteem and did all of this to get back at her, or she ended up lighting the house on fire by accident because of the cigarette. That's what I was thinking. But wow, to actually hear that these guys, and she's an operator now, which kudos to you. Okay? Because I know these operators, they are very, very, like, they don't care. They don't sound very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Enthusiastic when it comes to their jobs. They don't sound very caring. They don't sound very concerned. They don't sound considerate when it comes to you and your life being in danger. Like, this is something I've talked about with people a lot. How operators, they don't sound like they really care as much, because when you get on the phone and you make a 911 call, it's basically you in danger. That's most likely that's the reason why you're calling. So, like, and they know it's like when want to hear something scary, basically. But yeah, no, these were very good stories. Like, I love things like this. I love talking about it, and I love watching it. mostly because like you get so deep into the story, even without the visual, which the first story was with a visual, but the other two weren't. It was still interesting. It was really interesting. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here, and I hope you guys liked what you've seen. I'm gonna be coming up with more content and more reactions and stuff like that. But until then.